So, good morning. Welcome, everyone, to this true and fair gathering. My name is Ian Morley. I'm the treasurer of the party, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you all here this morning on what is a very interesting and auspicious day for us and for the country at large. We seem to have an incumbent government that, well, we know they lack principles, and now they're going back to actually the restoration of political dinosaurs to save themselves from the extinction that going to the right will eventually bring them. And on the other side, we have the Labour Party, a party where it's very hard to understand what their policies are because I don't know what they are. They shout a lot, they make a lot of noise, but I've got not the slightest idea what they stand for. All they do is what the rest of us do and watch the Tories on a daily basis of self-destruction and annihilation and extinction. With true and fair, we have an exception. We have a party of principles, we have a party of policies, and principles can be spelt with two ways and has two meanings. And we have both. And in Gina Miller, we have a principal. And in what we're going to talk about this morning, in our economic policies, we have principles, and they are created principles, and they're ones that we believe will capture the imagination of the people because there is a paucity of choice. There is, in fact, almost no choice. We offer something different. We offer something that should appeal to both sides.
Thank you for joining us for our second chapter for Change policy paper. This economic paper, I think, has come at such a vitally important time when it appears that we're going backwards as a country, that there is a lack of vision, of ambition, of any competency to take us to a more sustainable future. This economic paper is the first in what we're calling our three big E's, manifestos on economy, education, and the environment. Against a backdrop of our rapidly changing world, with fewer jobs due to AI, an older population, the effects of climate change, and stretched public services, we really need to think differently. We need to start on a different economic path that is based on what we believe is the triple bottom line of people, profit, and planet. We need to put kindness, health, and happiness into our economics. For those of you who think that might sound soft, there are real hard economic benefits for doing so. We live in an age of unprecedented technological advancement. There is no denying that AI has a potential to revolutionize our industries, making them more efficient and productive than ever before. But there is a downside. That progress comes with significant challenges, as we heard last week at the AI conference. And I have to say, I don't think that they really spoke enough about this, about the impact of AI and the negatives that we have coming down the street. The potential loss of jobs for many individuals across almost every sector. And if you're Elon Musk, the loss of almost all jobs, according to him. As AI and autonomy continues to replace human labor in all these sectors, the effects will be seismic. But none of the major parties are facing up to the profound economic implications of this transformation. In addition to the AI revolution, we are also facing the pressing issue of an aging population. This demographic shift towards a larger elderly population will require increased healthcare and pension provision. As happily we all live longer, it will need more public spending. But have we seen anything in the main parties' manifestos on this? Labour have actually decided not to mention social care in theirs, which is, to me and the other candidates, unforgivable, when we already appear to have social care that is at breaking point. Pension reform is another area we will deal with in a separate paper, but again, it doesn't seem to be occupying enough attention from the main political parties. The economic footing we would put Britain on with the reforms we are proposing and announcing today are a precondition for withstanding a population in a country facing change. Britain's current economic model is struggling to address these manifestly different changes. To link back to AI, we beg the question of who is going to be paying taxes in the future if so few of the population is working? And where are people going to get their income from? Not just to strive, but just to live and survive. These major societal shifts are simply not being addressed. This is where we need to start. This is where we believe the concepts of kindness economy and responsible capitalism come into play. Now, let me expand a little bit more on what we mean by that. We mean that our country needs an economic philosophy that places human well-being and social welfare at its core. Our country needs an economy that prioritizes the welfare of individuals and communities over an aggressive focus on short-termism and profit. Our country needs policies that promote economic inclusivity and provides a safety net as radical changes in the labor market take hold. We need a fair personal tax system to close loopholes and ensure that those with the means do not evade paying their taxes to support the common good. Today, we also propose a fair business tax system, which creates a leveler playing field for online and bricks and mortar businesses to replace business rates. Analysis we have carried out on this shows that 10.5 billion a year could be generating just by placing a 10p transaction tax on online purchases alone, and that could revitalize high streets. We aren't proposing this as a technical change to the tax system. We're proposing it to enable investment in society at large. True and Fair proposes earmarking funds from the online transaction tax to revitalize struggling high streets and foster local economic rejuvenation. The levy would transform town centres into health and happiness environments. True and Fair would use shopfronts to create combined job search facilities, legal aid provision, debt counselling, and to assist access to support such as pension credits and universal credit. These are shopfronts in the high streets that have a well-being entity around them, working alongside the private and the voluntary sector. In these new well-being hubs that we would see in the high streets, people would be supported into work rather than as job centres are now doing, which is sanctioning people for not being in work. Our towns and village centres would once again become the soul of communities as we face a future with increasing technology and fewer jobs and that aging population. That in turn would reduce healthcare costs and improve wellness and productivity in local communities. High streets have been the heart of our communities for generations, and they hold immense potential to contribute to the overall well-being of our society. We cannot ignore them. We need to re-energize them. Wellness centres and community hubs that provide access to mental health resources, fitness activities, social connections, fostering a sense of belonging and happiness. High streets becoming hubs for creativity, culture, and education that stimulate the mind and promote lifelong learning, that combat loneliness, antisocial behavior, showcasing the talents of our community, bringing people together through shared experiences. We also have a significant number of proposals to create a fairer female economy, including addressing gender pay disparity in the UK, which currently, shamefully, still stands at 14.3%. The current rate of progress, it is envisaged that it will take 21 years, that is until 2044, to achieve pay parity between men and women. That simply isn't good enough. True and Fair propose turbocharging gender equality by lowering the gender pay gap reporting threshold for businesses from 250 to 25 employees. That would force all but the smallest firms to be transparent about their disparities between male and female pay. To support young people and strengthen our public services, we're today proposing a student loan write-off scheme to attract and retain talent in the public sector. We are advocating a 50% write-off after 5 years of service and a 100% write-off after 7 years of working in the public service across teaching, the NHS, social care, civil service, and other critical public sector roles. This is about not just attracting, but retaining talent. With the autumn budget just a week away, the government really need to show us that they have ideas, but we doubt there will be much forward thinking, more plasters over. It is a Conservative Party that has tired and is run out of steam. If bringing back the king of austerity, David Cameron, is Rishi's best plan to boost growth, tackle the cost of living crisis, and kickstart productivity, then they really have lost their way. On the other hand, we are publishing today in our Economic Chapters for Change document a suite of 31 proposals. As I say in the foreword, at this pivotal moment in the United Kingdom's history, we stand at the crossroads of possibility and responsibility. The decisions we make today will shape the future for generations to come. It is with a profound sense of duty and optimism that we started the True and Fair Party to challenge the status quo. My fellow candidates and I who are on this webinar today aim to be a party of ideas, innovation, honesty, and real principled debates about the future. There will be hard conversations because our country is broken. But do we just turn away, decide not to vote, decide not to act, decide not to speak, and leave the burden to our children and grandchildren? We do not think that is right. We believe that we need to be forward thinkers, outlining pragmatic approaches to achieving a brighter, fairer, and more sustainable future, advocating radical longer-term policies to drive responsible change. As we face a general election next year, as with any other small party, even one MP can change the agenda when it comes to the mainstream, especially if what we are facing is a hung parliament. We are in the business of doing the thinking no one else will do. We are in the business of challenging the status quo parties, adopting the policies Conservatives instinctively oppose and that Labour dare not act on. Each vote for us next year is a vote for longer-term thinking, the economic reality for a fairer, more sustainable, kinder society is possible. Our economics paper can be found live now on the policy tab on our website, trueandfairparty.uk. Have a read, and if you agree with what we're proposing, please share what we are doing. This grassroots movement that we are in at this time in party clothing is about connecting people who have given up. The disenfranchised and the politically homeless need hope. We think our papers bring that hope and those ideas that will get people out to vote. Thank you for listening today, for joining us today.